YouTubers, welcome to my channel. Try it yourself. I don't know if you watch any of my previous videos, but today I will be trying to clean my engine, and I will be using this Gunk engine degreaser original. And normally, by the way, the guys who work with engines, unless you have like a super fancy new car and you want to keep it clean, nice and neat, that's the only reason really you have to do stuff like that. If you have an old car, older like mine, this is totally not necessary. The reason I am doing this today, like I said, if you watch any of my previous videos, I had a problem with the radiator. My fan cut through the radiator wall and I had a major antifreeze leak. And what happened is it got so much on the engine, on the components over there, and when the engine's hot, the smell is horrible. It's so bad that you actually can even taste it with your mouth. It's so rich. So this degreaser stuff is actually mostly for the oil, grease and stuff like that, but I think it should work on this problem that I have over here. And before I get to work, obviously I'm gonna read the instructions over here, but the very first thing, do not do this kind of work if you're gonna do that on a warm or hot engine. So mine wasn't running since yesterday, it was sitting over here super cold. And so here's a few key directions that they recommend over here. Do not start your engine after you have applied Gunk Original until entire engine is properly rinsed. Rinsing is necessary to properly clean engine to avoid potential fire hazard. Okay, so number one, engine must be off and cool. So definitely not running and cool. I mean, cold is better, but at least cool. Number two, care must be taken with all underhood wiring and electronic sensors or computers. Cover any open carburetor or intake system openings. Cover exposed electrical, electronic components. Number three, shake well and apply generously to dry engine. And make sure to cover all dirty and greasy surface areas with Gunk Original. Wipe overspray from exterior body surfaces with a wet cloth quickly to avoid de-waxing or striking paint. So obviously I'm not doing that on the outside, so I'm not worried about that part. Number four, allow Gunk Original to soak for 10 to 15 minutes. Brush unusually heavy deposits to break up grease and dirt. Number five, rinse all areas with a fine stream of water from top down. Minimize rinse water in the areas that can cause performance problems, electronics and intakes. Number six, when complete, remove added coverings and replace any removed parts. Start engine and idle 15 minutes to assure complete drying. So I'm not going to be removing anything, and I'm not expecting to make this thing look like a brand new engine, so I definitely not going to be spraying in the areas where my fuses are, computers and electrical stuff. But definitely my alternators look really nasty, and because that antifreeze with actually leaking patch that I apply, which has particles of aluminum and copper in there, I think that's not good to stay in there. So I definitely gonna try to clean that area, but that thing is actually open to the water when you're driving, so that shouldn't be a problem at all. So mostly it's the front end of the engine, my fan, and that's what will be trying to actually to clean at least some of it. Like I said, the engine doesn't look like new, doesn't bother me at all. What bothers me not even the antifreeze that leak, but that leak stopper components, which, like I said, have a particles of metal, and it actually landed on some of the, like my AC compressor, my alternator. I actually trying to get some of that stuff with this cleaner, and like I said, I hope at least to minimize the smell, because the smell from the burning antifreeze is just horrible, and when the engine's hot. So that's the job for today. I don't know how well you're gonna be able to see all that buildup, but like for example, over here on hose you can see this golden copper stuff, and that's another thing. Right after the antifreeze spray, see, I have this little coating over here on this pulley, so I don't know, the other ones didn't do that. This is the only one that has this white like powder stuff. My alternator over there, you actually see it's all nasty and packs some of the yeah, right there is actually, you're gonna see. So it's been actually a week I was on the road. It happened to be last Saturday, so that's what it looks like after a week of being with this antifreeze and radiator stop leak stuff. So let's see what it's gonna look like before and after. Okay, so the first thing, shake well. It doesn't really say for how long, but let's see if it's gonna have like a ball like inside the paint can. So I don't know how long, but yeah. By the way, I bought this in Harbor Freight for, I think it's $5.99, but right now I have a coupon for 30%, so it cost me under $5, $4.80. That's right, with tax and everything. So, but you could buy it, I think, like auto parts store, hardware store, because this is good either for cars or even like a garden tractors and all kinds of equipment. So that's what it looks like when it's all soaking, and now we're gonna let it dry, not dry, but let it soak for 15 minutes or so. It says 10-15 minutes, so that's what I'm gonna do. And see, still particles of that, see this on the hose, particles of that stop leak stuff. So this Gunk original engine degreaser is actually not damaging your hose, plastic or aluminum. It's actually not corroding in anything. And so we'll see how this gonna work. When I'm gonna be rinsing, obviously do not use power washer, just the rinsing water from your garden hose. Okay, so it's been 12 minutes, and now I'm gonna start rinsing from the top to bottom. Well, that's that. Now we're gonna let give some time to water to actually drip off of this thing before I actually started. Okay, so that's how it looks before I started the engine. I cannot tell you if it's a 100%. I still can see particles like over here on this pulley. It's too shiny. But yeah, right here still that copper particles of that stop leak stuff, but I mean obviously now it's wet, so you cannot really tell, but it does look cleaner. This pulley actually, if you remember, it was white. Now that thing came off. I don't know if that white's gonna come back when it's gonna dry, but for now it looks cleaner, so we'll see. Well, first of all, if I'm gonna be able to start this thing now, so that's the after. Let's see what it's gonna look like before and after. Yeah, so that's the view after. It's starting to dry a little bit. It's starting to show this white stuff. So I don't know, but I see a few super tiny particles of this copper stop leak stuff, like on this pulley over here, right there. But it's not white anymore, so it actually washed off that powder, white powder. So it started to dry. So the water that was in there already dripped off. I mean, whatever's inside, now we're gonna have to, like they suggest, start it and let it run for 15 minutes. So with the fans probably and stuff, it would actually dry completely. So that's the next step, is to start the vehicle. So as you can see, engine started without any problem. It's working nice and quiet, but the white is actually coming back. So that Gunk wasn't able to reverse the stuff. And what I'm thinking is the metal components of that stop leak stuff is actually reacted into these pulleys. You can see it's over here, it's on that bottom pulley. It's on the right here on the AC compressor. That white started, so it's definitely cleaner. I cannot tell you about the smell at this point because the engine not hot enough for that smell to come up again. But I mean, this part at least, where the valve over here, or thermostat, whatever this type thing is, it looks cleaner. It looks cleaner, definitely. But I mean, like I said, I didn't expect it to be a brand new engine. Okay, so compressor is working. I mean, it's already right here. That's it. Compressor clutch. Can really show it over here nicely. Yes. Sun. I started without the sun. It was kind of better to see, but now the sun is tricky with my not expensive cameras. But anyway, one thing I can tell, the compressor was actually making a noise when the clutch was engaging. And right now it's super nice and quiet. So I think some particles of that stop leak stuff actually fall behind somewhere in there. I don't know. But anyway, right now it's nice and quiet. So engine's working like it should. I mean, really quiet. I mean, fairly quiet for 3.7. So everything's working fine. Electrical. So that's today's project with a Gunk engine degreaser original. I mean, I was using actually not for what this design is for, because this is for like a grease and build up dirt over the years. I was trying to actually clean off the somewhat greasy, and this is basically with contains kerosene in here, so kerosene is a little bit greasy too, so I don't know how it's fighting each other. I mean, if it helped, but I mean, it helped a little. Like I said, I don't hear that squeaking noise from my compressor anymore, so at least that part is helpful. And again, at this point I don't smell the strong antifreeze smell, but then again, engine, I don't think it's hot enough to actually, I mean, I don't think it's hot enough to actually be 100% sure. But anyway, so that's at least what I can tell, that I sprayed generously pretty much The most concern was around alternator, because it has all kinds of holes in there, and I shoot inside the alternator, and again I shoot with the water, so I was concerned a little bit. But as you can see, it started right up. Battery light did not come on, so alternator is working. And so that's that. I mean, if you have to clean up like a grease or something, I think this would do a much better job. And another thing, when you're washing off, this thing has like a red color. So if you have on the motor, you definitely have it on the motor area on the plastic, like a trap pockets. When you spray and it's not dripping down, it actually stays. You can see that it's rated red, like some kind of red liquid, right? So I mean, it's easier to actually see if you rinse it off really good with the water. I mean, you do it until that red stuff is gone. So anyway, so that's today's project. I kind of hoped it would do a miracle for me, but I think week of driving with that antifreeze is actually already reacted enough on those aluminum pulleys. It's impossible to reverse it. So the that white powder stuff came back on. This thing didn't help that stuff at all, but it washed off some hoses and plastic and whatever the casing. So anyway, I guess, like I said, I wasn't sure that this will do the job what I hoping it will do for me, because it's designed for grease and stuff. But anyway, so that's the project today. If it was helpful for you guys at all, give me a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you.